Hello students, isn't it great to be back again? We are on a new online mode of communication, and this online mode of communication is now commonly known as netiquette. That is, it is understood as how do we behave online when we are communicating. And I think this is all an experimentation that each one of us are going through. You as students, as you are listening to me, and I as a teacher, as I'm communicating to you. What is this behaviors that we need to be careful about while engaging with each other? Myself as a teacher and you as a student. There are certain expectations. And let me come to the point straight away by saying we need to be clear in our communication so that we do not step the line, or else we would be breaking a code of conduct. And that is netiquette. What it is really? What is really netiquette? If I may put it simply, these are rules of etiquette that are applicable to online communication. In other words, it's an expected behaviors when communicating with your peers and with teachers in an online classroom. Let me see. What do you think about these various rules that need to be applied in these cases? Can you brainstorm for a moment or two? I'll give you time. You have your chat box at the right hand column. Go to the chat box and quickly write down a word or a sentence that comes to your mind when you think of the kind of rules that need to be maintained while communicating online. Let me see. Are there any points coming up? I'm sure. Let's go ahead. Let's take some of the points that you have just mentioned. We need to take care that we do not offend another person. We need to make sure that we are not stepping on to the bandwidth and blocking the internet connectivity. We need to be careful about what we are sharing about a classmate, or we need to see to make sure that we are on time. Yes, I like that. On time on the net. Okay, friends, I think you have put in a lot of good points on the chat box. Let me see how we can go ahead and see what are the most important points. Where do we start? I think the best point to start with is from the very beginning. As they say, let's start at the beginning. Where do we begin in? Let's look at how do we come onto this common platform. I know each one of you, when you come to college, you come into a classroom, right? Well, here on the online mode, we come onto a classroom that is within the college premises, and that is MS Teams. You are now using MS Teams as the official college platform for online teaching. Make sure that you log in with your official college account only. Do not use any other phone, or for that matter any other account, or that would mean a violation of rules. Well, I think the college has already informed you that once you have created your account, you do not need to share your password with anyone. Very simple rules. I think you all have been used to it when you were using your Gmail account, for example, right? Well, this needs to be adhered to be followed. And this adherence to a strict code of discipline is needed to be followed. Why? Because it should not disturb any online session in any manner. And I can tell you one thing, dear students, I'd like to put this point very clearly, that any violation can also result in a block, or perhaps your account being even banned if you overstep the limit. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's say now we are really into MS Teams. Yes, make sure that whenever you come in for a class, you are there 10 minutes before the scheduled time. Why? Because it's so simple. you would not delay yourself primarily, and also the teacher and the class. Remember one thing, that if you come in late, like in normal offline classes, you will be denied attendance, right? Yes. But in this case, I think one of the steps needed would be to lock the classroom. If you lock the classroom, you are not in. So that will happen. And if you would like to enter in late, then perhaps you need to get a special permission. Okay? So please try to be there on time. Looking forward to seeing you and the class on time for all the lectures, not only for myself, but for the rest of the faculty in the college. Make sure, as I said at the beginning, join into MS Teams. And when you join in, go straight to the calendar and join the meeting that has been scheduled. That is in your class channel, BS or MS level, whichever level you belong to. Do not wait for the class links. Do not say, the teacher will send me the link and then I will come. No, I'm sure you will be able to understand how to enter your classroom. Just in case there are problems while the professor is taking lectures and you are stuck at that time, or rather the class has a kind of a connectivity issue, or MS Teams has a connectivity issue, then there is a possibility that it could be rescheduled on another platform. I'm sure all of you are aware that besides MS Teams, there are various other platforms that can be used. I'm sure all of you might have been onto Zoom or Google Meet. Well, we are looking at an alternative platform, that is Google Meet, just in case you cannot log into MS Teams or the teacher cannot log into MS Teams on that particular day. Keep your Google account ready. Make sure that you have a Gmail account so that we can start a Google Meet in case of a problem. Thank you. And let us go now ahead and move to how you can effectively and optimally use your time as a student in a classroom. What would be the best position to keep yourself into while you are studying? And I'm sure you will answer me by saying a quiet atmosphere, right? A quiet place where you can concentrate and study. Now, these classes that will be held will be a quiet place. So choose a favorite spot of yours at home, just not as a quiet place, but also make sure that you have good Wi-Fi, good connectivity, and minimum distractions. Preferably use a desktop or a laptop. As you know, you will have an easy access to the various features on the platform. Of course, if you do not have these facilities, then at least try to make use of the mobile that can link you to your classroom. Check your device for the audio and video input sources in advance. As you know, if you cannot hear clearly, you will not be able to engage in a purposeful learning exercise. So make sure that your audio and video is in a good working position. But remember, switch it off in advance and switch it on only if you are asked to ask a question by the teacher, or in case you need to make a clarification when required in the class. In case any of you have a connectivity issue or a hardware problem, please make sure you contact your class teacher, or you tell any of the student induction orientation program committee members. Okay, so let's now go and look at what are the other important aspects that we need to keep in mind. As I mentioned earlier, you need to be sure that you can be heard and when you speak. So make sure you have a good connection, a earphone that connects you, and you can automatically shut out all kinds of disturbances while teaching. Use earphones to bolster or to rather cancel any kind of noise that is there in the background, and then make sure you can connect well on through your computer. Okay, well, let us look at other aspects too when we are looking at net etiquette.
Netiquette.
Okay, let us understand that we are here in a formal atmosphere and we are here to learn. What is it that we need to keep in mind? One important thing is, as one of you has said in the chat box, is to make sure you are there in your formal attire. Why is that so? Because it is just like any other online. This is like attending regular college. Therefore, you need to maintain a certain amount of decorum with regard to your attire. That is, you need to make sure that there is a formal aspect to your presence online. Okay? My dear friends, let's be clear about our rules. This was something to get started. There are certain norms that we are looking at, and these norms need to be followed. Treat your teachers and classmates with respect during any communication. Use courteous and concise language. Do not go on and on. Avoid any slang terms like, hey, what's up? Or instead of using texting, you use certain abbreviated words like you and certain shortcut words. Well, in the chat box, you need to understand that the other person reading your line of communication should be able to understand what is written. Also, it's important to understand that when you write on chat box, use certain standard fonts like Arial, Calibri or Times New Roman, preferably in a font size of 10 or 12. Avoid using caps. And if you ask me why, because when you use caps, it is clear that that means you are trying to say something very forcefully to a person, and that would give a miscommunication. Avoid any rude, humorous, or even sarcastic comments. Remember that though you are chatting and using such words, the other person can perhaps easily take it as a negative comment. So be aware of these kind of means of communication. Try not to use any emoticons, because there too you're not sure the reader is able to understand what you're saying. Restrict your queries to the chat box. Do not unmute yourself unless you are given permission. Before posting a question, check if anyone has asked a question, because you may have missed out the reply given by the teacher or the speaker. Be careful about what you say about yourself online, because that could be something confidential. And remember that all sessions are recorded, so those things could be something that could go against you anytime. Let us also look at what we need to see besides these rules and norms. We need to understand that the teacher is not only communicating with you certain study materials, but also giving you certain tasks, learning materials and assignments. Make sure that you connect with your course teacher, with your subject teacher, and if you have any issues being experienced, please ask and clarify it. Remember that your attendance is marked at regular intervals during the day. Now, remember to always be present, not only at the beginning or rather throughout the class, but also do not leave early, presuming that the class is ended and the teacher did not mention clearly. Remember to make sure that you hear the last announcement or the teacher has said or mentioned that he or she has taken the attendance, and then you may leave and log out. Okay, so log out only with permission. Dear friends, now I come to the most important aspect, which I think all of us should understand, and that is the college zero tolerance policy. That is, don't take the college for granted on these points. That is with regard to a few points. That is, make sure you do not disrupt any teaching or learning activity in the classroom. Do not intimidate or harass or have any threatening behavior towards any teachers, fellow students, or administrative staff. Make sure that your attendance is truly accounted for in the right manner. That means it is you and not someone else who's present in the class. Also, it's important to understand that you do not have any other intent while communicating. That is, do not display any kind of sexually implicit or explicit content while communicating your point across in the classroom. Remember that whatever you share on this platform is being recorded, and also what you write in the chat box is also being taken note of. The college will take serious action in case there is a violation on any of these counts, and perhaps even the recording could be used as an evidence to the required authorities like the cyber cell or the police. Okay, let's not go too much into this. I'm sure you are all good students and you are here to learn, and we are here to learn together, and that's what I promise you. We will make this a beautiful experience. Let me summarize all that we studied today and understood about Netiquette. Netiquette is as understood by this beautiful slide on 12 important points. That is, we are here as human beings. We are here to respect each other. Let us communicate in words that encourage each other and build us up. As we come across to each other, make sure you are properly dressed. You do not criticize, and also your behavior is professional. As you know, there are certain privacy and copyright aspects to your communication, and all these things are being recorded. Do not come across as a person who is overstepping the limit by bullying or using sarcastic language, or in communicating in text in capitals or any other rude language. Finally, the most important thing is we are here to have a quality education, and this quality education is something we are all looking forward to. It is a two-way process that not only you as a student, but me as a teacher or all my colleagues would like to communicate to each one of you. So let's make this a beautiful experience. My dear friends, let me end with a beautiful poem that I read, which is shared by Catherine O'Hillman, which says, "Seas of Learning. Welcome to my classroom. I'm happy you are here. I'm really glad I get to be your teacher for this year. We are going on a journey like a crew upon a ship. We'll sail the seas of learning, gaining knowledge on the trip. I'm hoping for smooth sailing, though we are bound to hit bad weather. We'll be okay as long as we all learn together. Everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes I'll get things wrong. Our crew is different, is good at different things, but difference makes us strong. So are you ready? for the challenge? Come aboard. Let's all sail together and let's sail away. Chart a course for learning, and the adventure starts today. So, all the very best for this new year that opens before you. Thank you.